Hey guys, David here, and welcome to Digital Outlook. Guys, what a Monday we have seen in this XRP ecosystem. Of course, the Franklin Templeton and the Grayscale XRP ETFs went live today, and from what we saw in the early morning, now I don't know what all the numbers are just yet, but boy was Franklin Templeton kicking it this morning in a big way. And just look where the price of XRP is today. It wasn't but Thursday that a lot of people were crying, oh my gosh, XRP $1.82. And here we are, went up I think as high as 228. Guys, that just tells you everything you need to know. The volatility of this space is wild, but I'll say this much. These XRP ETFs, guys, they are having an impact, and they're going to have an impact. And think about this, because this is on-chain data that you can research for yourself. Right now, you are watching major whales. I mean multi-million-dollar accounts. And what are they out there doing? Well, they're out there gobbling up and buying XRP off the exchanges like absolute crazy. That's a fact. And here they want you and I to be terrified and be all spooked and in fear at where the market is, yet they're gobbling it up like that. Come on, guys. Now, I was watching and actually reading an article and watching a video from Steph is Crypto. And I'm going to put the link to this article and video right in here because you have got to see this. He was pointing out that in the Gaussian channel back in 2017, we had a major scammy wick like we just did here in November of 2025. And what ended up happening is XRP came back up. It tinkered along inside that Gaussian channel, dipped down and came back into it. Well, guys, it was 52 days from that event that bam, XRP saw one of the biggest, if not the biggest bull cycle move that it had ever seen. And history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. And if he's right, and we are into 41 days or 42 days, guys, it's not too much longer. And I do believe we are going to see a trend reversal. And is XRP going to fly? My gosh, I'm telling you, if he's right, boof, it is going to be absolutely insane. But you know what's going to happen in that case? I think the majority of people are going to miss it because, guys, I'll tell you what, so few people actually stuck around for it in 2017. Do you know what happened? So at the beginning of 2017, you could buy XRP for something like 0.006, so just under a penny there. And then it went along. All of a sudden, I think it was in the June-ish, May, June, the thing fired off, went up to 20-some cents, which is a massive move from under a penny to 20 cents for sure. Well, it just tinkered along, got to November, and there was that scammy wick. Boy, did it send the jitters right through the whole space. And what ended up happening? Well, a lot of people sold and capitulated. It wasn't but a few weeks later, and boom, XRP was at $3.84. Now, just fathom that. You could have actually put in $6,000 on January 4th, 2017 and literally netted over $3 million. Just literally 1 year to the day. That is truly phenomenal. And by the way, 2020 to 2021, again, XRP, it was in the fall months in December that the lawsuit came down, and 4 months later from 17.5 cents to $1.97. A lot of people got shaken out, and they didn't stick around for it, guys, and they missed that move. That's what I think is going on right now. You're watching the psychology of a market play out big time because the whales, they are buying. They are gobbling it up. They're eating it up, and they're eating you and I up if we're selling like we are, chum. Now, why would they do that? If they believed that it was going to go down there, it wasn't going to actually do anything. Come on, guys. We're smarter than that. But this is how they play the game. And you know why they do that? Because it works. Because it works. I mean, human behavior is very easy to track, and they know how easy it is to manipulate. And every cycle, there's a whole batch of new investors just primed and ready to be victims of the whole, games that they play. And they are playing them, and they are playing them big time. Guys, you do not need to be a victim to that. You don't. I'm telling you what, we have actually sat down, and I've talked with so many people now of every walk of life, medical, legal, you name it, business owners, very well-known people out there in the sports world and the music industry, and on and on and on. And teaching them, look, there is strategy that you can employ to see a difference in your situation. You don't just have to be like a cork on the water, up and down and all that, because the volatility is definitely there, guys. it is definitely, this is the most risk-on asset class that you're in, but it houses such potential for the revolution financially in our lives. Insane. And are the fundamentals changing? Ask yourself that. Have the fundamentals changed? I mean, are we moving closer to a new digital economy, into this new, distributed ledger utilization of all that? Or are we moving further away? Well, we know we're moving closer to it. That's for sure. And there have been so many examples of, us having a technological shift where the majority of people missed it. I'll tell you one right now. When the internet was coming out in the early, late 80s, early 90s, well, we were having kids. And most people, I kid you not, made fun of it. They didn't really understand it. It was a novelty. It was this, it was that. It was you got mail and on and on. Few people had the foresight to see what was coming, and boy, did it revolutionize the world. Revolutionize banking for sure, revolutionize how we, transpose information, communicate with one another in massive ways. This was science fiction that you and I are doing right now, but it was back then. If you had a little bit of foresight and put a little bit of dough into one of these organizations, man alive, you would have set your family up for generations. But most of us missed it. Well, guys, they are out front and telling us what they're doing. Do you think they're putting a genius act together for nothing? Do you think that there's, they're putting all of this debate and everything into this Clarity Act without having any rationale for it? And think about this one. So recently, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, they made a ruling that allowed banks, get this, to custody digital assets. Why? For the purpose of paying fees on those networks. Well, guys, why would any banks need to custody digital assets to pay fees if they were not going to use the infrastructures that those digital assets represented? Right there. I mean, it does not take a genius, a rocket scientist, to figure it out. But, of course, they got you filled from the top to bottom with as much fear and uncertainty. They're shaking the tree. They're manipulating the markets. They're doing all of this stuff. We've seen it all, from the tariffs to the shutdown to the this to the that to whatever. And guys, I do not believe it's all just happenstance. They've played this game too many times. And at the end of the day, the whole goal and the whole objective, guys, is to make you and I literally subservient to the whole system. Absolutely, for sure. This represents probably one of the only opportunities for regular folks, retail folks, to literally front-run institutions in a massive way, guys. Never before you would have had to been an accredited investor or be on the inside of a new launch or something like that. But now we are literally right here at the forefront, and we're seeing this distributed ledger technology being employed in the wide world, and they're literally crafting legislation all around the wide world, every legal jurisdiction, to get ready for what's coming. And guys, it's going to revolutionize lives. And that's why I say it's probably going to represent the greatest wealth transfer in the history of mankind. And you do not want to miss it. I don't want to miss it. I don't want you missing it. And guys, you can get yourself ready for it. You can get yourself strategic for it. And today, I was meeting up with a lot of different folks in the coaching that we were doing. And boy, the conversations that we were having, and able to show them a pinpoint. Look, this is what they do. This is how they do it. And on and on. Take a look at their portfolio, making sure that it was balanced towards their goals. On top of that, sharing techniques that you could employ to literally absolutely succeed in ways that you weren't doing before. That's how you get there. You don't leave it to chance. And guys, I was talking with Judy, and we got some emails. Looking at my emails today, whole bunch of people wrote me and said, David, I want to take your coaching, but it's not there. How can I do it? Well, guys, we have opened it up for the first week of December. You can get yourself on the calendar right there. And we're only putting out a few spots, guys. We only do maybe 10 or 12 of them. And you can reach it there at thedigital.outlook.com. Get yourself on the calendar, because I'll tell you, when this thing moves, it's going to move so fast, you are not going to digest it. You aren't. I know if you haven't been there, it's hard to believe. I get it. I was there. But it did happen. And when it does happen, guys, it happens so fast. And think about this. A lot of folks, where we had that scammy wick, where XRP and everything, the whole thing dropped down to $1.25. They were trying to get on their exchanges. and, to execute maybe some buys or whatever it was they want to do. You couldn't get on the Coinbase, couldn't get onto Robinhood, couldn't get onto Uphold, couldn't get on the Kraken. They all were falling down like crazy. Well, I'll tell you what, back in 2020 in our run, the same thing kind of went down. And that's where Judy and we signed up for Caleb and Brown because we could just get on the phone and talk to our broker. And think about this, it does not cost you one dime, guys, to open up an account with Caleb and Brown. In fact, you can talk to your broker as many times as you like, and that doesn't even cost you a penny. Another deal with that, you don't have to sign up and pay an extra fee for their institutional grade custody like, the vault on Coinbase or Uphold. Nope, you can actually get it, and it is no cost, and it's all segregated and insured through Fireblocks. It is truly amazing. The only time you pay a fee is when you buy and when you sell. And by the way, there are no withdrawal fees either. Big deal. And especially when you're dealing with situations where you're wanting to actually be able to exit a position and you can't. Because do you think when people were wanting to buy when the price was dropping like that, do you think it's going to be any different when comes time to sell? I'm going to tell you, every single time, every one of these exchanges all had problems. You wait and see if that doesn't transpire again. And a lot of people are going to be licking their wounds, going to be saying, how on earth, waiting for that time to really benefit from a major bull cycle and not even able to get on there. So guys, I'll tell you what, you owe it to yourself. I've got a link right down there in the description of this video where you can sign up for Caleb and Brown in full transparency. If you use that link, they pay us a referral fee. But just like they would pay anybody else a referral fee, if you referred it to your friend, they'll do the same thing for you. But the thing is this, guys, whether you use that link or you go on Caleb and Brown, his website, and that you owe it to yourself to check them out to see if they'd be a viable alternative for you when you're really, really going to need one. Guys, amazing things are transpiring in this space, and it's happening fast right before our very eyes. We are watching history be made, and I want you to make it, and I believe that it's going to be something that most of us have not even imagined. And if we see, like Steph's Crypto is saying, and other TA guys, anything like 2017, I'm going to tell you what, it is going to blow the living doors off of most people's minds, and most people are not even going to be ready for it. It'll be that powerful. And so I'll tell you what, guys, until tomorrow when we're going to have another fantastic video for you, guys, have a fabulous one and take care.